came across this video, 9 reasons why looking poor is important, and it got me to thinking. Now this video was posted over on the financial sphere, but I had to bring it over here to my fashion girlies. The video makes a number of points, but 2 of the biggest points that stood out to me is 1, the loudest person in the room is often the weakest, and 2, rich people don't dress rich. And of course we've seen examples of that for decades with people like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates. However, we all know that cis hetero white men can walk into a room with literal garbage on themselves and still command more respect and earn more on the dollar than we do. But how do the richest women in the world dress? And what lessons can we unrich people learn from that? You'd be surprised at what I found. Plus, these women are paid. Like for instance, Rihanna is a billionaire worth $1.4 billion. The poorest person on this richest women in the world list is worth 23 times more than that. That's a lot of money. So on this Forbes list as of 2023, the world's richest woman is Francoise Bettencourt Myers with an astounding net worth of $80.5 billion. Now she gets her money from being the descendant of the person who founded L'Oreal, one of the biggest cosmetic companies in the world, if not the biggest. And she's been the richest woman in the world for 3 years in a row. So I did a Google image search and it seems that she has a very signature style. Now outside of her headshot, which looks like this, I couldn't find any other variations of her signature look. And then all I found was like these really like low-key casual photos of her, and I was like, well, hasn't she done like a fundraiser, something black tie, like, you know? But if she has, I couldn't find any images. So to me, I would say that she dresses pretty low-key. She looks put together and she looks stylish, at least she does to me, but very low-key, no designer logos, nothing screaming designer outright, at least to me. I mean, this very well could be some like $100,000 scarf that she's wearing around her neck. I don't know the brand. If you know the brand, you know, let us know in the comments. Now, while I wouldn't say go so far as to say that she looks plain like a Bill Gates or a Mark Zuckerberg, but she's pretty low-key. The number 2 richest woman in the world is Julia Koch. She has an estimated net worth of $59 billion. She's the widow of David Koch, who, you know, him and his brother started Koch Industries, so Julia now owns 42% of that. Now, Julia, though, is described as a socialite and philanthropist, so her outfits that she wears, you know, make sense for that social circle. I mean, I don't know socialites, but anytime I've heard the term socialite, usually they look like they wearing what Julia's wearing. And Julia's 60, like, this woman's 60? But a lot of the images that I found of her online were from page 6, so it makes sense that she would be more into her fashions and, you know, wearing designer and stuff like that, because it just goes with that industry. The number 3 richest woman in the world, Alice Walton. She has an estimated net worth of $56.7 billion. And as the name, you might have heard the name in there, Walton, Walmart. Her daddy done founded Walmart. Now, when I looked at Alice, I was like, okay, Alice seems very stylish and put together. However, nothing screams out at me. Nothing seems flashy, nothing screams designer. She might be wearing designer brands, but not a logo in sight. So number 4, Jacqueline Mars. She has an estimated net worth of $38.7 billion. Her and her brother own 1/3 of Mars Inc., which, you know, their grandfather founded, you know, M&M's, Snickers. They also have pet food. Mars Inc. is a big ass company. And you know, Jacqueline's style, you know, it's modest. It seems like a couple decades ago, she found what she liked and she stuck with that throughout the decades. You know, that's just how she's gonna roll. Number 5, Miriam Allison, net worth of $35 billion. She's the largest stakeholder in Las Vegas Sands, which is the world's largest casino operator. And Miriam has a signature style, but nothing flashy. Now, we can keep going down the list. Number 6, Rafaela Aponte Diamant. Hopefully I'm saying that right, $31.2 billion. Number 7, Suzanne Clatton, $27.4 billion. Number 8, Gina Reinhardt, $27 billion. Number 9, Mackenzie Scott, $24.4 billion. Now, I absolutely hate describing a woman as such and such's wife. However, in some cases, you know, you might need to tell people that Mackenzie Scott is the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos of Amazon. The clothes she wears flatter her. She wears some more form-fitting dresses, but she's not wearing anything flashy. If she's wearing designer, then it's, you know, something very low-key. It's like that quiet luxury that all the kids are talking about on TikTok, right? The poorest person on this list is still worth $23.1 billion. Now, there is a theme here. Aside from, I would say, Julia Koch, because, she's a socialite and she's dressing all nice. And maybe Mackenzie Scott might be an exception to this as well, too. Although Mackenzie's still not flashy. I wouldn't say Mackenzie's wearing, the type of items that Julia Koch is wearing. However, Mackenzie Scott is a little bit different. She's, inherited 4% of Amazon after the divorce with Jeff Bezos. And she famously said that she's like trying to give away as much of her money as possible. She's already given away $14 billion to about 1,600 charities already. So does this mean that you should rethink the way that you dress? Now, a majority of these women are in industries where fashion just really isn't a focus. In many instances, if they showed up with the Gucci logo suit on, that might be a distraction. But the fashions do look a lot different when you look at the world's richest female celebrities. But their net worths are just a fraction of some of the women that we just covered. So for instance, one of the world's richest female celebrities, from what I gathered, is Jamie Gertz. And you might be like, who is Jamie Gertz? Well, if you watch Seinfeld, you might remember her from this episode, but maybe you didn't know her name. Now, Jamie is worth $8 billion with a B. Now, while some of her money does come from acting, a lot of it does come from investing in sports teams. But let's talk about some others we might be more familiar with. And among those, we have the likes of Oprah Winfrey, $2.5 billion, Rihanna, $1.4 billion, Kim Kardashian, $1.2 billion, Taylor Swift, $760 million, Kylie Jenner, $680 million, Madonna, $580 million, Beyonce is $540 million. You mean to tell me Beyonce net worth is less than, And we all know these ladies for their various fashion styles and tastes. As a matter of fact, their image, their fashions are what makes them their brand. And a lot of them have to keep a certain sort of branding and status because a lot of them, like in the likes of Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, etc., a lot of them are banking on you loving their brand so that they can sell you back pieces of that brand so that that brand can keep continuing to make money.
This is business.
Now, their net worths are significantly less than the poorest person on the 10 richest women in the world list. As a matter of fact, if you add up all of their net worths combined, I'm talking Oprah, Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift, Kylie Jenner, Madonna, Beyonce, all of their net worths combined is still less than the number 10 person on the richest women in the world list. So is there a correlation between fashion choices and net worth? Perhaps, but keep in mind, women like Jamie Gertz, Oprah, Rihanna, etc. have their money invested in various types of businesses. Plus, sometimes people use an interest in fashion as a way to belittle women, like, oh, fashion's not important. But like we just talked about, in certain industries, like being a celebrity, being an influencer, that image is important to your brand. See, as much as people like to complain about influencers who wear luxury clothing, they sure do have a lot of followers, don't they? And think about how people berate celebrities who repeat outfits or the type of fashions that someone who is considered like a Z-list celebrity wears. Like, people trash talk those people all the time. So should we be dressing poor? Now, previous studies have shown that people who appear to be wealthy are seen as more intelligent, more competent, and more disciplined. However, a newer study done in 2019 seems to suggest that posting about your luxury purchases, extravagant vacations, your wealth, yada yada, it may help you to persuade others. It might intimidate your competitors, and it might help you in the dating market, at least for men. But it could also signal to potential friends and employers that you are less likely to consider the needs of others. So are we dressing poor or not? So me, I'm just gonna dress the same. However, going through these lists of the 10 wealthiest women in the world and not seeing Nan Gucci or Chanel logos all up and through definitely made me think. Now, I'm still wearing my Gucci and my Chanel, whatever little bit that I have. However, any new purchases, I will, think twice and then 3 times and 4 times about. Not that this year I was thinking about making many new purchases anyway. With everything going on with the economy, it made it a lot easier to second guess, buying a lot of things, especially with having 2 assistants, a video editor, last year's taxes, this year's taxes, like it's a lot. And then trying to invest and save on top of that. But as I've downsized my spending on the business and personal side, I'm gonna continue to remain as frugal as possible, even as my income starts to increase again. And then there's a huge point that you just don't become a mega billionaire without exploiting a lot of the poor people that they seem to be cosplaying. Buying cheap clothes isn't any better though. I've found that buying cheap clothes can actually be very expensive in some instances. See what I mean about this in the next video? Click on it and I'll see you there.